Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of CloudsDale Cafe podcast. And I am here joined by Technic Shadow and our very special guest, Flavin.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, Nick and Ragin couldn't join us for this episode because they're busy doing, stuff. So
I like stuff.
Yeah, stuff is good.
Stuff is good.
It's just gonna be us guys here talking about stuff. So Flavin.
Yeah.
I heard on the Tumblrs that you were on a convention. So tell us about that.
Well, I was in fact at a convention. I went to just yesterday for the day to Denver Comic-Con. It was the con's second year, and a rather successful year at that. Rather impressive given the youth of the convention, but it was absolutely fun. George Takei was there. I got to look at George Takei. That's just enough of privilege for me. Felicia Day and the people behind the guild and all that. Katie Cook and Andy Price, the people behind the My Little Pony comic. And also the guy who made the Twilight mini comic was there, but I didn't really care about that as much. The gist of it was a comic I had to dress up. So I dressed up I dressed up as the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who, and I look kind of a bit like David Tennant.
We're gonna put the pic right on the screen, so
put that picture there of myself and Mr. Elevensy on the left there, and you can see that's basically it. I mean, that's not my favorite picture, but there's a lot of goodness there.
Yeah, let's see if we can look it up
a few people kind of did a double take on me, and I did hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you're the best Doctor Who I did say today," and that made me feel ego trippy. All in all, it was a great experience, a lot of fun, good people. And the costume contest wasn't actually that great, but the rest of it was fantastic. And if anyone is in the Rocky Mountain area for next year, I highly recommend you take a look at the Denver Comic-Con.
Yeah, here's the pic right here, and I think on the right, based on perspective.
Yes, on the right.
You see.
That's me in
the
spotlight.
That's some flavor.
It was really good. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're a good doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I really dig the suit. I mean, it's really well fitted. That's like, for me, when it comes to cosplay, it has to fit the person well, and that's really important when it comes to was this England fit? You know, the British one. The
suit.
Coat. Yeah, the suit.
Oh, the suit.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry, what?
Yeah, it's like the
suit was just. Sorry, if you mean the suit. Oh, sorry, I'm just a bit confused here. It looks like someone was asking about me. So the suit I was wearing?
Yeah.
Is it an English fit?
I don't. It could be Italian. It could. Look, I know it has fewer buttons than it should have. The Doctor's coat has 4 buttons. However, I got it at an ARC, and then I got the pants at Goodwill. I know how to make a costume.
Like the hair going on. The hair looks hair's good. You had the hair going on. You had the hair just right for the Doctor. In my opinion, anyway.
You should see it from another angle. It looked even better.
Yeah. Well.
Yes, I got to meet a lot of people dressed as the TARDIS. Many people kind of wigged out when they saw me, and then went to a restaurant afterwards, and the waiter was like, "Wait, you like a guy from The Thing?" It was pretty hilarious. You like the guy from, what is it? You're a guy from something. What is it?
Dude, you're like from the guy of The Thing I saw last night with my girlfriend.
You're that dude that walks around in the box.
The guy who walks around with the R2-D2s, the ones with a toilet plunger duct tape to them.
use the guys with the huge glow sticks, and they do the zippity zappy doo. Starts turning into Bill Cosby.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's really great that you had a lot of fun at the con, and
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty
nice that
cool.
You
Yeah,
take a little
sorry.
time to join our small podcast. So
Yeah.
another thing that we want to talk about before we get into the actual interview, which is going to start at 9:30 for those listening, and for those who on YouTube, you can skip this little part, run the little annotation I'm going to be putting there. Bazam! If you can't see it, then
You've got annotations off, but you're probably on mobile, so
yeah.
that.
I think there's like one of the biggest topics that everybody's been talking about, and we like to talk about things not Pony related. So on, it's like the new Xbox One, and everybody's calling it the next water cooler. I don't understand what Microsoft means by that statement, but if I'm going to put water on the Xbox One, and if it doesn't work, I'm suing Microsoft.
Of course. I mean, I use my Xbox as a water cooler anyway, so I mean that might be why I don't play games, but I don't know.
What else was it for? I think it's
Seriously,
good
I
that,
mean.
I'm glad that's somehow the subject matter, because I'm actually working on the next Ask Gamer Ponies update right now, and guess what the subject matter is? It's the Xbox One.
Ooh.
It's gonna
Xbox
It's gonna be
One.
pretty. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty quick, just sort of mostly dialogue, but I'm excited for it. I've been kind of playing with visuals ever since college, and I've been pretty pleased with how it's gonna turn out, and I think people will be pretty pleased to see any update at all, because there usually aren't any at all. So all in all, I'm just excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it because I've just been a fan of Xbox and Microsoft in general since they released their first one. But it looks alright to me. It looks alright, is what I'll say. We'll see with E3.
The design for me, I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of, because again, it's a VCR, and it looks like a VCR, but there's still some sort of like optimism, because you can't deny the fact that they're gonna bring out the promise of 15 exclusives, and 8 of them are from new technology, new developers. So, but who
Yeah.
knows? These could be puzzle games on Xbox Live, for all we know. We're not sure if all of them are gonna be like real disc games, and they're gonna be franchises that are gonna push the advantage for the Xbox. People are saying that Xbox is losing the advantage when it's coming to consoles. So we'll wait and see until E3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. The exclusives is where they're gonna kind of hit their mark more so than the others. But it's hard to say what's going to be coming. Really, my biggest gripe, and I kind of jab at this in the post, is that I always referred to the original Xbox as the Xbox One, and now the Xbox One is coming out, and of course they couldn't call it the Xbox 3 because that'd be too close to the Xbox 360. So. Really, just
Personally,
why?
I thought Xbox 720 would have been appropriate.
Yeah, but it's true, or even 540. It's just kind of.
All right, but
I
okay.
mean,
Here's my theory. Here's my theory why they picked the name. Okay, you got Xbox, right? Then you got the Xbox 360, which is a circle, and when you go to a circle and reach the end, you go back to 1.
That doesn't make
That's
sense.
not really a circle. Well, I mean, if you were to graph that out on a 2D plane, you wouldn't make a circle. You would just make a line that's doubled over itself.
But it like not thinking of it in a math sense, because then we're going abstract here. Just thinking of it in a more like if you go
I
into a
guess.
circle, then you go back to 1, which is where you started, because
Yeah,
0 is
okay.
nothing. But let's just take that little theory. and just screw logic altogether.
My one big gripe that I can see with it before it's even released is one of the Microsoft head guys was saying that Xbox 360 and Xbox One games will not be interchangeable. Like, you know how you can take your GameCube games and play them on the Wii and stuff? Well, that's not a thing with the Xbox 720. You won't be able to play your old... I mean, I'm sure they'll release the old games on the Xbox 720, and for a couple of years they'll release Xbox 720 games. I keep saying Xbox 720.
Xbox One, but not Xbox
One.
Yeah.
I keep saying... I'm sorry, but you won't be able to play Xbox 360 games on the Xbox One. And that pisses me off.
I remember when the 360 came out, I remember trying all of my Xbox One, God, you know what I mean, games on it, and they were just kind of selective about which ones worked. I mean, pretty much the only ones that did work were Halo 2, Half-Life worked, Half-Life Episode 2. I keep thinking there's another one, but that's all. I think that was it, as far as what I had. There may have been others, I can't remember. Maybe someone in the chat will tell me.
Chat, tell us. We're sorry for the 5-second lag, but...
Pardon. No. But yeah, more really the big issue with the Xbox One is going to be what they're kind of doing DRM-wise. Of course, we all kind of go on and on about DRM and how we hate it, and how they're going to make it so that you have to have a game purchased for you. So you can't just go to GameStop and sell it used and buy a used game. You have to get a replenishing code. You can't just give it to your friend either. If your friend says, "Hey, I want to borrow that game. It looks really cool. Maybe I can try it for a few days, see if I want it."
What about
you can't.
renting?
You can't do that with the Xbox.
What about GameFly?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure how GameFly is gonna work with all that in hand, because I use GameFly now. It's really great. But with this new thing you're talking about, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, of course it's a kind of cloud, Microsoft Cloud, and of course there's the always online thing. You can't play games unless they're always online, which is the big stink that everyone's making over SimCity, among other things, of course. SimCity,
SimCity was a disaster.
Oh God.
God.
Complete fire.
Friend saying, "Oh no, I want to get SimCity," even though I'm like, "Why? No, you don't want to get it. Oh, don't give them your money. Don't patronize."
A lot of people might get mad at me for this, but I think Microsoft's just being. I mean, I was beginning to think this with the whole with the 360, but now I'm fully confirmed about this fact. I think Microsoft just wants our money. They're being big money whores right now. I mean, that's all I can say at this point.
I have a question for you guys, though. Xbox One does end up being a sort of flop.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to instead carry the torch for the next generation? Sony or Nintendo?
Ooh.
Sony.
Yeah, so Nintendo, for me, their decision making when it comes to consoles, they're not strong, and I'm gonna tell you my reasons why Nintendo is not going to. Is because they have a very, very lacking when it comes to games. The reason why the Wii U is failing is not because of the console, it's the games.
Because of the games. Yep. No, you're right.
It doesn't have games to pull gamers in and make the console last. And the reason why Sony will take over the torch if the Xbox One turns out to be total garbage is because ultimately it's going to have good games and is focused on core gaming. That's what we want. We want consoles to be focused on core gaming because we, the gamers, are the ones who buy it, and we want to have a awesome experience with the new console, with the games. We don't care about TVs. We don't care about instant messaging. We don't care about Xbox Snap.
We already have that on our phones and our computers and everything.
Seriously.
Our cars now.
Yeah,
we don't need it.
If I want to talk to an animate object, I got CV for that. It's really just... Man.
It's basically just a restrictive PC now at this point to game on, and it's blurring the line, and it's not in a good way.
From from my point of view, I do think Sony's going to take over the legacy if the Xbox One was to flop. Mainly because with the whole Xbox, Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii thing, I always thought of Nintendo as kind of like a third wheel to this fight that Sony and Microsoft's been having. They've always just been in the background. I mean, you don't really see the more mainstream games on the Wii. Like, oh god, I remember when they tried to put Call of Duty on the Wii. That was a fucking disaster. But you've got all these Call of Duty players and Battlefield players on Xbox and PlayStation and even PC, but you don't really see those types of games on Wii. You've got the more games like Sonic and Mario on the Wii, those types of games. Because remember when we tried to bring Sonic over to the Xbox, that was a disaster.
Oh,
Personally,
geez.
I think there are some fan bases
And
for
we
some
all
consoles and some games for some consoles.
We all know how that went back in 2006.
Remember
But
now, the horses.
If the Xbox One kind of carries the torch of exclusivity for games, and the Wii U is more attractive but has nothing to play, I think you're right that Sony will probably be the best middle ground to go with that. They'll have they'll have pretty much all of the general cross-platform games available to it. It'll be usable and not awful, and hopefully, and won't slap on that horrible useless DRM things that everybody. Yeah.
Black. Yeah, if Ragin were here, he would just be living.
He'd be tearing it up.
Raging?
Yeah, literally.
Ragin?
Yeah, he would be
Ragin.
living up to his title.
That's what he got the name for.
Yeah, but
He'd just be tearing it up on this subject, but
we're gonna be optimistic for the Xbox
Yeah.
One until now, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be the games that are gonna win. And
of course.
if the games are gonna be so freaking awesome that you just gotta buy it and you need it, then
Yeah, we have
that's
to pay
gonna
out the
be the selling
nose.
point.
We don't care if we have to always have internet.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way.
It's like
God, that's...
I have games on Steam and I can play Steam offline and play them anyway, so that's like. a lot
Yeah,
of people
I'm
are
thinking.
complaining about that too. It's like, oh, but Steam is like everything's online, but you can still play your games offline. So.
Well, here's the thing. What business do you have owning a computer if you can't get internet? Think here.
Exactly, but.
It would okay. Well, let's say that you do. I mean, yeah, a lot of things are online these days. But even
course.
still, when the power goes or when the internet goes down, which does happen, and this happens to me for various technical reasons involving my internet box on the street being flooded with sewage, it can happen that you're stuck in your computer with no internet, and if you want to do something, it's nice to have the option to play offline. That's kind of how I feel things have been going, is that we are sacrificing. We're making it so that in our lifestyle, just in general with technology, we're making it so that if we can make life better when things work and make them work more often, but when things don't work, life is much, much harder. And Xbox One just takes another step in that. When things aren't working right, it's harder to live with it. That's just kind of how I feel it's doing. It's just another step in that direction.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's like a good view on it, and it is true that because it happens, and I know their intentions on it. As much as they want to like improve the quality of our experience with the console, ultimately they're kind of like, we don't really need it. We don't really just to get lazier and lazier. I mean, I would buy the Xbox if Billy Mays was still alive and he was selling the Xbox. Then yes, because like that's such a like suburban attitude towards it. That
Of course,
they're
yeah.
getting so lazy that you have to use voice commands and like waving your arms around like a dumbass.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox.
Xbox on, Xbox off.
Xbox.
I'm not gonna lie. If nobody was watching you and heard you talking to the Xbox, you'd make your fucking batshit crazy. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Excuse my language, but I have to be harsh there.
Alright, the background music, I can just tell you real quick what is it? Who's playing it?
Come on, give us an update. What tunes you jamming out there?
It's At the Gala by Sim Gratina.
Very
Oh
nice.
yeah, check that out.
I will, though I can't hear it.
Make sure
Anyway,
you support the artists.
Yeah, support the music dudes who are providing us with the sweet jams, busting some
Hell yeah.
righteous rhymes.
Sanguchino!
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm like imagining, it's like, hey there, Billy Mays here, bringing you another outstanding product. Check this
Billy
shit
Mays
out.
here! Yeah, that.
Is the Xbox One. You can wave your arms around it. You can talk to it. You can,
Sex.
You can kill someone with it.
and it's like it just brings like,
You can stab, you can Netflix with it, you can do all of this and more. But wait, that's not all. Order now, and you will receive nothing else.
no, you will
because we-
receive the Xbox Kinect for free. Now you can
Xbox.
experience how it's supposed to be. And, like, you see him like all flailing around. But wait, call now and you could get our water cooler expansion for only 5 payments of $29.99. Oh man.
Only 15 easy payments of $99.95.
But yeah.
It's an easy
Xbox-
payment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty price, but that's another thing we have talked about how much it's gonna cost, and
I think they're both expensive. They're both around that same price range. So
yeah, they're both gonna.
I'm not gonna say it's fair, but it definitely competes.
I mean, for me, the PlayStation 4 is gonna run around $600 or maybe $700 if they go that expensive like they did last year, or maybe they'll go a bit cheaper. Who knows? And the Xbox, it's gonna be expensive as hell. If it's gonna include like the Kinect, the second Kinect, and the Eddie starting title games that they want to like advertise for. What do you think, Flavin?
Sorry, my mom just texted me to ask me about boating. Xbox, yes. I think they'll hopefully refine the Kinect a bit more. It does technically work, but it's kind of, it could use a little help. And I know some people who do use the PlayStation Move. Is it? What's their thing that is a Wii but isn't the Wii?
Yeah, that thing died out as soon as it released.
Yeah. Hey, are you gonna buy the new PlayStation Move? Fuck no, I've already got a Wii.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been saying it all.
was
When will
I'll say
video
at least-
game realize? When will the devs realize that gamers do not want to get up from their comfy sofas and partake in physical activities ever?
Of course, if we were to do that, we would just play sports.
Sports,
Yeah.
sports.
Screw that, I'm a cyclist.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I just ran a 10K the other week. That was fun.
Well, aren't you the productive one?
That was a quality section. Yes, that was fun. Anyway, the point is you don't have to partake in organized sports to be fit, which is really good because I hate those.
America. Well, it's 9:30. It's time once again for the moment you all been waiting for, the interview with Flavin. This is an exclusive interview from the CloudsDale Cafe. It's sponsored by, Ponyville Live, CloudsDale.org, and several others that I just can't place.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out something awful. I didn't understand a word of that.
Oh,
I'm terribly sorry.
oh. I'm losing connection. Hooray.
That's not good.
Whatever the question was,
yeah,
I'm
the
sure I'll
stream
be
is
able-
broken.
Yeah.
The stream
Next
is
question.
broken.
Okay. Don't worry about it. I'm right now trying to see if I can fix it here. It's I don't know when It's still recording. It's still recording.
Okay, yeah, I
it's
think
just-
we're back.
It's still recording.
It's
It's
back.
just like it just
Oh,
did a little
no.
hiccup. We're
It's
sorry
Bach.
about that, guys.
Our apologies.
But yeah,
Nothing.
let's go back to what we're talking about, the interview. So, Flavin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let me see. Now, I really, I'm very introverted. I'm personal, and I like to get out. I like to go clubbing with my friends, with the girls, the boys.
Basically, I am a horse artist. I draw ponies for fun. I do a few commissions now and then when I have time. I am the artist, writer, and moderator of the popular blog on Tumblr, Ask Gamer Ponies, which is, as TJ put it, on life support at the moment. But updates are coming for that one. Luckily. I have big plans. I just got out of school. I just did a lot of, art lessons and class, and I've learned so much, and I'm so excited to use what I've learned with the ponies. I am going to be making a few prints and going to BronyCon, and I hope to be selling them. So if you look forward to seeing me there, then you should absolutely hit me up or be at the same booth as Mr. Chocolate Pony. That's I'm done.
Alright. Well, thanks a lot for having cramped of information. And hopefully that your little vlog can sustain its life and, we don't get to pull the plug on it.
There is that one thing I drew that everyone knows, that Spitfire's Grud comic. Everyone's seen it. I made it like a million billion years ago, and it's the one thing. Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's the one thing that I've done. But that was old. That's all the new blood these days. That's what I'm getting into.
Well, how do you really got the idea of making the blog?
Well, it came to me. It was December, and there was kind of a contest on EQD about. I can't remember. It was one of the artist training grounds, but it was about the Humble Indie Bundle, and so I decided to draw kind of, and having been inspired by the Tumblr blogs I'd seen at the time, namely Ask Size, Ask Stockerloo, a good few others, ones that have really inspired me and grown to become close friends of mine, they just kind of inspired me to do a kind of ask a question and then give a response with the theme of video games. And then from that I was like, hey, should I do a Tumblr of this? And people were like, yeah, do a Tumblr. And I did, and it grew over time, and I got better. I basically started it because I thought it would be a good exercise for me to get better at drawing and get better at being quick and consistent. And it really helped a lot for me personally. It was really just an exercise, but it just completely took off, and I was floored by it. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you all for what you've done for me. So grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back then when I was like looking at your blog, and you were constantly doing the updates were updates of the follower account. That you were just breaking milestone after milestone, and
yeah, it basically got to the point where by the time I finished drawing one milestone post, I had reached another one. So that's when I stopped doing those.
yeah, I mean, we know that the blog is popular and has tons of followers, and
Yeah.
the whole saying that "ooh, I have so and so followers" craze is getting kind of silly.
Yeah, at that point it's kind of like, you get the idea, I'm very popular, please love me and acknowledge my existence.
Yeah.
Worship me. I wish I was popular.
Well, that's kind of the thing, is when you wish you're popular, it somehow doesn't happen.
It doesn't work.
I know it doesn't work. It's true. I talked to so many people with the successful Tumblr blogs. I talked to all the big names, and I asked them, did you think you would be popular when you started it? And of course, like, no, absolutely not. I had no clue. I just did it because I thought it'd be fun. Just did it for the hell of it, and then it took off like bam. Same thing with everyone.
Yeah. I say that jokingly, though. I don't want to put up with that kind of stress.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't update a while, and then you neglect it, and it sits there in the dust for so long, and then you're like, oh wait, is this still alive? God, let me hear a beep
from that machine. Beep, beep, beep,
Flatline. Just goes flatline. But yeah, that is a kind of a thing happening, that people would want a popularity just, you know, to have friends and have people draw for them and things like that. And it's fun and all, but there is the old saying, what guides you blinds you. And
Of course.
you going in the mindset that trying to reach popularity doesn't necessarily will guarantee that you will achieve it, nor that you're gonna have a good time, you know, going through the paces of trying to get popularity. So
Yeah.
I think a really good advice is that you would do the Tumblr, or you would do whatever projects you want to do because you personally want to do it.
The trick is to do things. Exactly. The trick is to find what you enjoy doing, work at it until you're good, find a way to make it kind of like I don't know, make it your living, make it your life. And that just doesn't go for, you know, this thing. It goes for life. You don't have to be sitting there behind a desk working tech support for Crocs for all your life. It's best if you get fired. But really, you do you have to find what you love to do in life and find a way to do it. My brother-in-law and my sister, who love making costumes, they just found out a way to get into the 501st, which is sort of Star Wars-derived charity organization that makes really, really accurate and detailed Star Wars costumes for, like, stormtroopers and clone troopers, TIE fighter pilots, all that sort of thing. The list goes on and on and on. Every single expanded universe corner of Star Wars, and they'll go to hospitals and make, you know, it's a charitable thing. And it's a thing people can kind of make a living with. And it's so much fun, and it's the same with so many other things. I'm sorry, that's the con. I can't stop gushing.
Yeah, it happens. Like I said,
Point is,
it's really hard to talk about something you like without gushing.
I just think that whole Star Wars thing is really cool. I can't wait to see what comes.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Speaking of things that are really cool, how do you kind of got in your, you know, how do I say this lightly? How did you ended up drawing for the MLP fandom?
Well, I mean, I got into the show and I saw all the other people drawing, and I couldn't not really. I've kind of been drawing, you know, general stuff for as long as I can remember. I was never too seriously into it, but you know, my sisters, both older than me, are both fantastic artists, and I always looked up to them when I was young, and it just made me want to draw and do kind of comic things. And when I became a brony, the obvious conclusion was right in front of me. Yeah. I started doing some stuff, putting it on DeviantArt, and it kind of worked really well for me.
So I noticed, like, in your DeviantArt, you used to do like a lot of comic books and little comic strips and things like that. So how you incorporated those little comics into the My Little Pony fandom. So
yeah,
what was like the initial, when it comes to comics, there's always kind of like a template that you follow. What was like the initial like template or inspiration that you kind of base most of your comics and your work from?
That's a good question. For me, it's basically a big amalgamation of just about every comic and thing I've ever seen, just absorbed into one, as it kind of continues to be, and more so over time. It's that sort of influence, and then, you know, I do my best to kind of put in my own spin, of course, but I've read a lot of comic stuff throughout my childhood, tons and tons. You know, I've read things, all sorts of comics, mostly Western comics more than anything else, I think, but there is some things like Ranma in there, of course, from my childhood. Read a lot of our Crumb works. I still have his Bone. Tons of Calvin and Hobbes, tons of new strip things, all that sort of stuff. I just absolutely absorbed it as a kid and loved every bit of it, and so I got to use that as kind of a sort of a basis. And from that, I kind of got to just think, you know, I just want to do little short comics in my own style, based on either my life or other life or random ideas I have every once in a while when I'm in the shower and think, hey, this would be really funny to draw. and this is just kept going with that. But there were colored horses. That's pretty much where it turned into that.
It turned into horses.
It turned into horses. Yeah, it's interesting though because artistically, ponies kind of slipped in, sort of gradually. Really, I made a comic about my friend of mine who turned into a superhero sometime, and he fights Pinkie Pie at the end. That was like the first pony I'd ever drawn, and then I can't remember what exactly was the turning point, but then I started actually making full comics just about the show, just from ideas I got from watching it and thinking, hey, Twilight turned into Stone all the time. She didn't learn a lesson. This would be funny to draw. And I got to grow from that and, you know, fill more horses with more pop culture references.
Now,
Oh, look, reference to Arrested Development. Oh, I'm hilarious.
now, speaking of like pop culture, your blog focuses on two types of cultures. It focuses on gamer culture and the MLP culture, mixes it into one. Out of both of them, if you're going to pick one from each, what would be the favorite thing you like to make material or jokes from? Like something that you find particularly funny from that type of culture and you like making fun of?
Honestly, I actually really like making fun of more of the topical fandom news. I guess just because, you know, video games is kind of, a lot of people do with that. I can just kind of take that and spin it with ponies and have my own hilarious joke left on it. But I really like I feel more connected when I have more of a commentary about, like, when people are all dramatic about whatever. When the whole Derpygate thing happened, so I made a comic about, you know, Derpy, and I was all supposed to be lighthearted and warm and fuzzy, and for that I just made up a video game that doesn't exist at all and isn't based on anything, just so I could prove my point. So you can see how that kind of takes a precedent over video games sometimes. But of course, if there's something big about video games to talk about, which there oftentimes is, then I can make that take precedent over the rest as well. So it can really flip-flop most of the times.
That's good. You can never run out of stuff to draw about and topics to have the topics to
I've
do.
got ideas out the wazoo. It's just the execution that needs help.
Yeah, it's like most of your stuff is like based on of humor, and it's like a mix of gamer humor and My Little Pony humor, which is kind of like an interesting mix.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
we're all gonna be waiting for like what the Gamer Ponies thinks about the Xbox One, which I'm pretty sure you get like a bajillion messages from that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
so
not as
many
many
asks.
not as many as I thought, actually. In fact, although there were some, when I thought of, oh, you know, I'll do a one about the Xbox One, I actually didn't think I had anything in my inbox about it. But then I looked just now, and there was one, of course, which I got to use. But I seriously thought I was going to go without having the little, you know, question screen cap at the top of the post for once. But even still, yeah, I do definitely turn to the questions for inspiration a lot. But sometimes the idea just comes to me naturally. When that happens, A+.
Yes, I win. Well, wait, oh man, I forgot my questions. This is very embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. You know, I run one of these too, and I can't organize it for the life of me. It's really just a big old cluster mess of random cluster mess.
Well, speaking of your Tumblr podcast that you run, so we're gonna talk about that for a little while, since I apparently can't make good questions anymore. So you are, of course, one of the hosts of the Tumblr Pond podcast.
Tumblr Podcast.
Tumblr
Is I think that's the technical name for it. Yes, I'm not completely sold on it, but that's the name. Yeah, it's just a little podcast I do with you know, my friend, the guy behind Chocolate Pony, and TJ, the guy behind Pirate Dash. You know, both pretty successful Tumblr blogs as well. And we're thinking, you know, we're in Skype calls all the time, and we are friends with like all of the popular people on Tumblr. What if we just record ourselves talking to them? and then we can become, cool. That's basically what that begets. So it just kind of became naturally to us, and Chaco was really particularly enthused about it from the get-go. He was like studying up on other podcasts and looking at the tropes and the foundations and the layouts that all the others use. I did a bit. I listened to Star Talk and Brownieville and that thing that Trevor Duvall does. He's the voice of Fancy Pants. But it was, it's just kind of, I do it for the fun of it. And it is fun to go out there and have your voice be heard across the internet by literally tens of people.
Tens, dozens, yes. We even have.
Well, I don't know about dozens.
Well, we have a dozen here, so yeah. So you kind of like got all together and just started with the idea of, hey, let's just do a podcast. It's kind of like the same thing that we did. Back then, we just like everybody just got together and they just decided to start a podcast. Of course, I wasn't there when it started, but at least I kind of joined later on. And yeah, it's kind of hard to manage a podcast.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And it gets hectic with all of the that you gotta get everything done, that you have to just work on all the organizing, the guests, it's a mess. So what do you consider the hardest part?
For me, it's finding the time to do it, finding specific times. Like, throughout your entire week, you could pick and choose bits and pieces and say, I have enough time to do a podcast. But having a consistent time every week has always been hard because, I just finished with school for the summer at least, but with work and doing general things, Chaka will text me and be like, hey, can we podcast now? And I'll be across town somewhere or in downtown Denver just hanging out with people or friends or something, or you never know what. I've always got things going on, and it's really hard to juggle that with that trying to, have something you should have a consistent schedule for. I really think that that's one important thing with the podcast that I should involve myself in more, is being able to dedicate more time, more specifically to it, and have it, more important than other parts of lives. But I feel that's more for when it becomes extra serious. But I don't know, it's all a vicious cycle.
And suddenly, Wild Chocolate Pony appears.
Hello, good sir. Where have you been? Oh, he's not talking.
Oh, giving it the cold shoulder.
I think he's moving right now. It could very well be he can't actually speak, or he's on mute. That works too. But
don't worry about it.
Yeah, Nico's been in the middle of a big move, which is exciting. He's down there and where he is. But yeah, he's got to get his own little setup and his own little stuff all to himself, which I'm happy about.
We're happy for you, Chaco, and we're really happy that your, financial situation is getting resolved. And yeah, this just proved that the fandom is really, it's not completely, but it's at least it's getting, you're getting there. So at least we're all gonna be here supporting you, and we're all gonna, you're gonna figure things out, and we're all just a big dysfunctional family. We all love you. Anyway, enough gushing and enough patting ourselves on the back.
You could ask what other projects I'm up to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. Let's go with that.
All right. So, it's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. In addition to doing more with the Gamer Ponies and making more prints for selling and stuff and things like that, I am currently involved with a project called News Ponies. It's sort of one of those radio plays, sort of like Doctor Who's an assistant or something Pony in a Box Productions might make. It's got a few. We've got a list of voice actors, many of them from Pony in a Box, and I think the producers are as well. I can't remember, but basically, we're making this whole thing. It's sort of in the future, and you can find it if you just Google News Ponies, and we've got this whole thing going on, and we're going to be making it. So that I do the artistic direction for it. We've got a few guys working on stills that do that over the voice acting, and the scriptwriters are great. It's all just going to be a huge fun fest, and I can't wait for more of it to come out, and for more other stuff that I can show around. It's going to be very fun, and you can go ahead and check it out, newsponies.tumblr.com, and Google it, and it's all of that good stuff. There, my publicity's out of the way.
There you go.
Thank you for sharing.
Now feel free to plug your stuff. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, shameless promotion. That's what the CloudsDale Cafe is all about, man. Don't worry about it. It's chill.
Plug.
Yeah. So now let's get a little bit more dense. Like in about 8 minutes, we're gonna start the fan Q&A because everybody's starting asking questions. Chaco, please stop. You're agitating everybody. And so, one of the questions I want to ask you personally, you're from the Tumblr spectrum, the circle, and it's kind of like it looks like a pretty large community,
Circle jerk?
but in essence, it's a pretty small part of the fandom in general. But what do you think about how much influence that the Tumblr Pon, you could say, subculture has versus the rest of the fandom?
Well, I mean, I haven't really been involved with too much else other than, just DeviantArt. And Tumblr, once I managed to get directly connected with people, it feels very close. It's very widespread, but it's still somehow closely connected with each other. It's like a big room. We all get to be a part. Well, it's not just one, though, but of course. But I've met so many great people through it, and so many amazing artists and awesome people that I'm just so thrilled to know. And it's so crazy to think that I've become such close friends with these people I've never met. But I just can't wait to meet them at BronyCon, and we have our plans. We have our specific plans to all get together and hug for 12 minutes in a row. And I just can't wait for all of it. They've become like a sort of family, in addition to the actual family and friends I have in Meat Space. It's basically just, compared to the rest of the fandom, I guess it isn't too different, except that, of course, us being artists, we often, go, hey, can you offer critique? Hey, how do I make light sources work? A lot of RC things like that. There are clearly defined lines between some who are really good at what they do, and some who are still figuring out what it is that they're really good at and how to do it. And I think it's great that it's an opportunity for both of those to thrive.
That's a really good perspective on it, really art-wise. I think for me, when it is true that it is a close part of the community, because it mostly concentrates on Tumblr, it doesn't spreads out anywhere else, and when it does, it's kind of not so successful. Like, for example, jokes that are widespread in Tumblr will only make sense within Tumblr. If you take them out of like somewhere else without any type of context, it's just useless. So, but it slowly kind of starts creeping into like the more active side or the larger size of the fandom. For example, like he's doing like a Tumblr spotlight type of thing, which is good. They're promoting Tumblr that they like. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, one of us, I just remember one of us was like, hey, I know Cal Payne, and he kind of wants to do stuff about us, he said. So I dropped him in, and we got to talk to him a while. And then he featured me, which makes him cool.
Yeah.
As well as plenty others, which is, I think, a great opportunity and a great idea to kind of get some of the smaller names out there, because it's grown to be a vast world, all of the Tumblr Pony blogs. There's so many. even since I said mine, and then right after me came kind of a big surge of many people joining in, and some of them are just amazing. One of them is actually oddly familiar. I'm going to link it in the chat here. Actually, I'll give you a second. It's Ask Gamer Ponies. .com.
That would make sense. I put them all together and I got something completely different.
Yeah. Now it's about the main six, and they play video games, and all of the questions are asked through DeviantArt, curiously, or most of them at least. But yeah. So there's that.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting.
Thank you for the link. I've seen the Gamer Ponies before. It's really cool.
I guess if I'm dead, then I kind of have a bit of an excuse, but not really. Also, not really at all.
They kind of like, it's almost the same when it comes to like, use the same thing. Either just post the background upload right there.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't really hold too much of it. It's kind of like after my blog started, there was an Ask the TF2 Ponies and an Ask the Skyrim Ponies and a few like that, and I don't mind those. I actually am really glad about those because it kind of makes me relieved of some of the jokes that could be played off with them because I don't want to repeat myself too much. But I'm absolutely happy to things like that, and of course Gamer Luna, which is similarly dead. But fantastic. But the guy behind that and I are very good friends, and he's an absolutely awesome guy, the Gamer Luna bro.
There's just something really an unexpected turn of events. Our good friend Nick is actually in the chat, and he's harassing everyone.
Oh, hey Nick.
He's asking
How
you
doing,
something
Nick?
specifically. Are you willing to give up your soul to the furnace that is the CloudsDale Cafe?
I am not willing. Oh,
I'm
wait,
already
that
on
wasn't
fire.
for me. Sorry.
I'm sorry, soul. I have no soul left to give.
Oh boy. At least he's it's good to see Nick pooping around in the chat at least. Unlike some of our members, which we will not mention.
Wouldn't it be funny if Ragin just popped into the chat all drunk in text and stuff?
Yeah.
They should.
Oh my god, dude! With the pink text and the drunk and the drunkenness, he would be just like Rock.
And he cut out.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
He just cut out.
He must have been stepped upon by Ragin.
Yes, it'll be just like that.
Came and squashed him like a grape.
Alright.
What? Knew he was being
That's
talked
funny.
about. Just
Yeah, he's just like disconnected.
he reached his hand out into the ethereal plane and snapped his connection like a twig.
Well, it's gonna be 10, so we're about an hour into the show. So
Cool.
it's that time again, ladies and germs. Time to ask our guests your most deep and personal questions.
Oh, baby. Go ahead.
So do I put the thing up now?
Yeah, go ask your questions now. Remember, bold and underline, if you please. And
Bold and
please-
underline for viewer questions.
Yeah, and please.
Be serious.
Yeah. But stay beautiful. Stay classy. Just stay classy, everyone.
Just stay classy.
Yeah, just stay classy. Okay, we got the first one with
you
Choco
don't-
Pony, and he's saying, "Is Choco Bagel best OTP?"
Well, obviously. Yes. How do you like the taste of your chocolate? Well, I like to taste my chocolate using my tongue. Interpret that however you like. But that's where I usually keep my taste buds.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Someone's
Saucy.
asking about our Skype fan thing. Okay, the fan Skype, it's kind of like for after show, so we don't do that in show. Okay. Let's go. Choco Pony. I'm gonna skip you because you're
He answered that.
You're a question hog.
Shame, that's a good question.
Yeah. S Flame
Favorite fanfic?
56
Look-
asking, what do you think about the 3DS? Question mark.
Punctuation. Adverb. 3DS is fine. I do think it's kind of silly that one thing I've noticed, I don't have it of my own, I'm afraid, but one thing I've noticed of the many who do is they don't really use the 3D that much. Seems to induce headaches over time. I think it's really cool just to look at, just because you'll look at it and oh my god, it's 3D. But it's a handheld console that's got some games on it, so that's cool.
All right, Chocolate Pony's asking a legit question now. Do you like traditional medium or digital?
Very good question. Over the course of the, I used to be just a big digital snob. Oh, I'll do everything on my tablet. Oh, I've got it Cintiq now. But doing things with traditional, I've gotten actually really pleased with it, and I've learned to really love charcoal. Just in this past semester with the black and white class I took, I've really pleased with some of the stuff I did. I did this great big Buddy Holly piece that I should probably upload at some point. And I've just really made some great things in charcoal, and I can work really quickly with it that I love. I've drawn some ponies with it as well, and I'm sure you'll all see it eventually. You'll all see it someday. You just follow my personal Tumblr.
Yeah.
But
Grunty noises on
get-
the way there.
So to answer your question, I like them both. I like them both a lot for different reasons.
Nice. So, Monochrome Eternity asks, what is your favorite MOP fanfic?
Ooh, there are a few. I've definitely read quite a few. Some I really liked. None are perfect, but there is actually one that always kind of stuck with me. It's sort of like Lord of the Rings ponies. It's called, appropriately enough, It's a Dangerous Business Going Out Your Door by someone called Jetfire, I think. It's one of the earliest ones I ever came across. It's decently length. It's like small novel size, and one thing I like about it is that it holds up really well. It was written, I think, right around the end of season 1, but even to this day, I think it still is very much enjoyable and readable and makes sense. Like its canon isn't squashed upon. It's really just great. So everyone go read that if you haven't already. All the others I can think of have been read by everyone ever a million times over. And that's not that many. Background pony.
Right.
Read back.
Ba-boom.
Right.
Okay, Queen of Fate asks a pretty interesting question. Opinion on poems?
On poems.
Yes.
Poems are cool.
To be
If
or
you're-
not to be?
Yeah, if you're a fan of sonnets, yay, I'm all for it. I've been to like a poetry slam kind of thing recently. In fact, I performed there at a little cafe a pretty big cafe in Denver. It was like open mic night. But yeah, poetry's cool. Next question.
Alright, so we got one.
All right, well,
from MXC
XC.
Original. Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say co-original. I was like, no. MXC Original. And he asked, Flavin, should I bring anything to your place later this month?
Bring soap. We don't have any soap here. We all just smell constantly. So bring lots of soap. And also bring a funny hat. Show up to my house in a funny hat. Or you
That's pretty nice. So SFlame56 asks, SFlame66 asks, what is your favorite game, and have you ever played Fire Emblem?
That's 2 questions. Next.
Slam!
Okay, I see.
Well,
I see.
on a jam.
I
And
see
welcome
how
to
it
the
is.
slam.
That's 2 questions.
I'm kidding, yes. I really have a hard time picking a favorite of anything. Food, movies. I like lots of things. I like everything. I like anything that you like. There, now you're pleased. And no, I actually haven't ever played Fire Emblem. but it is my favorite game.
Well
All
then.
right, well, I guess we'll do one more since we don't have that many viewers today. We're sorry. Usually this would be like the longest segment we can go, so we'll just do.
It's my
couple
fault
more.
for making. It's
Oh
my
wow,
fault
this
for
segment
making
lasted
you
like 5 minutes.
It's my fault for making you do this on the day of rest.
Nah,
Yes, chill.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, there's like a few more we can do before we kind of start wrapping this up because we have been doing this for like about an hour. When did you had Mike Knights? Did you get booted off?
No, I didn't. I didn't get booed off. I actually did a fun little poetry thing about like life or something like that. It was for speech class, but it was extra credit, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And I didn't get booed off, but there was a guy who went right after me, who instead of doing poetry, kind of did his own not very good stand-up comedy, and I think he tried to make jokes about periods, and he just kind of got gently jeered off stage.
Zio Wolf asked, what TV shows you used to watch as a kid?
Nickelodeon things. Back in the day, of course, it was a lot of Hey Arnold and just kind of Doug, that sort of things. Everyone knows the famous stuff. I saw The Weekenders. I saw things like watched a lot of fun little kids movies, like what's that mean? The Point. If anyone knows The Point, it's narrated by Ringo Starr and it's from the 70s. And of course, lots of Looney Tunes, lots of pretty much everything you love. Everything you love. All of it.
All right. So
Oh,
Nick
Weekenders.
asked a pretty cool question. Okay. Out of the games you played, what do you think is the best game development company in both quality and company practices?
Well, since it's on my mind, I'm probably just gonna shout out and say Double Fine has got to be up there as one of the good ones. Tim Schafer is absolutely hilarious and brilliant, and I love Psychonauts. And if you've seen what they've been doing lately with the Double Fine bundle, to which my roommate is a contributor, it's been really great. I've been watching the little exclusive documentary about the game that they're making as they're making it, and I just love seeing what they do. Plus, they've got a game developer at Double Fine whose nickname is Bagel, so I'm all for that. He's an artist, like me.
Yeah, whoa.
So there's your answer, is Double Fine. How do you like that, Nick?
Bam. He says very true. Okay, there's another one. Best pony?
Squiggletail, Diamond Butt, the one that's white.
Yes.
The white one. Yeah, of course.
Yep, it's the
Internet
white one. White horse.
5/Brohoof.
The white purple one
White
with the
horse.
diamonds on its butt.
Me horse.
Yes, dress horse.
Favorite Applejack episode.
I still have to draw her with Spike on her butt and call it the girl with the dragon tattoo.
The girl
But
with the
do
dragon
it, yeah.
butt tattoo.
Do it and
Favorite-
send it to
favorite-
me, bro.
Just put butt on it.
Favorite
and
app- Favorite Applejack episode? Probably the Derpy episode. 'Cause that one's just pretty good. It's good. Favorite plant? Ficus.
I guess.
Ficus.
What
Yeah.
are you gonna draw?
My
on
favorite
phone?
plant. When I get around to it again and my computer works, I mean it's working now, but you know what I mean.
Okay. Favorite Ask
This is-
blog. What do you think of that one?
My favorite Ask blog is, I would say, Ask Crackpot. Just because I really like Ask Crackpot. It's really good. I love the drawing. Roman is hilarious. I believe I've mentioned this before even to you guys, but Ask Crackpot's got to be one up there. Favorite dream? My favorite dream is Dream. Dream. She's a brittle one.
Well,
Ah, okay.
I guess that's kind of it for the questions and stuff, so we can get started on the
Fresh Prince.
after show. Favorite Will Smith is Fresh Prince. So. Oh,
You're the only person I know that would have been able to answer that.
No, Choco, I've not accepted Scientology. However, my transit system seems to have, because there are Scientology ads all over the buses.
Well, I guess we're gonna keep going then. No, but yeah, it's already been about an hour, and it is a really good time for us to wrap up and have a little more time for the after show because people are sort of interested in that one.
Well, they need to get it done now because it's Sunday and
Yeah,
people have work and school tomorrow.
It's a Sunday, so yeah, we can't say
Alright, man.
that late. But let's start doing the wrap-up segment, and this song is pretty appropriate. It's winter wrap-up. At least I can
Of
hear it.
course.
So, thanks a lot, Flavin, for coming to the show tonight. It's been a real pleasure. And Choco Pony for
Really cool guy.
rudely interfering without saying a word, but just like his mere presence was just rude.
Nick, I'd shoot you off with a broom, and I would happily sing.
Yeah. Having sang for and we want to thank Tech for this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tech.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, it's like
Flavin, you think? Flavin, you think?
oh, it speaks now.
Oh,
Ooh, oh my.
okay, wrap up. So what should I sing for you guys? What should I sing to wrap this up?
Well, I guess
Ethan.
you would give your undying thanks to us and saying how awesome we are and how better of a podcast we are. And
I don't know that in song form.
For joining
Can you
us
form
on
it?
this episode of our
Can you rephrase
podcast,
it in the form of a
buddy?
song?
just sing winter wrap up.
Oh God. Oh, here we go. This is happening. I feel like a very awkward person in a mall.
Wait, I'm
That's
gonna
happening.
shut down the music for this one.
Just real quickly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The stage is set.
It's all yours, buddy.
All right. 3 months of winter coolness and awesome holidays. We've kept our toes warm and cold. Time off from work to play. But the podcast game is running out, and we can't speak in this cold. And even though I love my host, the topic's getting old. The time has come to work and spring, and our things are wearing clean. But it's the time to say goodbye. This podcast we must end. How can I help it? Do you see what do we do? How can I fit in without magic? I am just an earth pony. Podcast wrap up. Let's wrap up the podcast. I haven't prepared for this at all.
No, you did.
I
That
could
was
just-
awful.
That was
I
good.
I could sing Bon Jovi. Whoa.
Oh yes, Bon Jovi.
Living on a prayer, take my hand, and we'll make it, I swear. There you go. Wrapped up.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Got places to go, gotta follow that rainbow.
Follow my
We can't stick around, gotta keep moving. Oh, I got a better one. I got a better one.
The tower of love.
Anyway,
Break it the song. CloudsDale Cafe.
Have
Where we
fun,
break it the
fun.
song.
Of course.
CloudsDale Cafe, early in the morning, except in the evening.
Depending
night,
on
really.
depending on which place you're located, it doesn't matter to me because I'm just gonna sing the song for you. With the
Don't
CloudsDale
you
Cafe, and this is what we're gonna do. We got Technic
CloudsDale
Shadow
Cafe
working on
in
the stream.
morning.
Technic Shadow working on the stream.
We got Flavin. He looks like a screamer.
We got Technic Shadow, he's doing his thing, and Sin is from Puerto Rico.
He's from Puerto Rico.
What we all just did. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how we roll.
Ships with his OC. Someone wrote a fanfic. It's really creepy.
Rhyming is hard.
Speaking of creepy fanfic, oh, forget it.
Borriquazo. Yeah, that's how we roll. Thanks.
We should probably close down the podcast now. It's getting ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous. We're all breaking into song. It's kind of silly. We're all embarrassing ourselves in front of live stream. So, I'm Sin. This was Technic Shadow, Flavin.
Rainforest.
Yeah, Rainforest. We got Chunky Pony. He's like, being a butt. And Nick is booting in the chat, but he still counts. Harassing people. So we're going to start the after show in a few minutes. We're going to be discussing how we're going to do the after show, some quick planning here and there, but we'll be back soon. And as for you, viewer on YouTube, which I am so sad for you that you cannot enjoy the after show, which is an exclusive to this live stream chat. Hopefully, you'll see.
Wait, they can't enjoy it?
No, they can't enjoy it. They gotta be here, and unless they are some time traveler from the past and future, then they would be laughing. But since they're not,
if you want to hear more from the CloudsDale Cafe crew, all you have to do is turn it in every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to hear exclusive material
from the host. This episode doesn't count because Sunday, but we do them Saturdays every other week. So next week is gonna be some dude we don't know, but we'll tell you when it comes out. And I'll see you guys.
We'll figure it out
next Saturday. Goodbye.
Later.
This episode of